Okay, let's dive into something truly massive today. We're looking at a project called Stargate. And just to be clear, not the sci-fi wormhole one.
No, definitely not. This is very real world, a huge undertaking aimed at, well, building the infrastructure for our AI future.
Right. And we're basing this on a deep dive article inside Stargate. So the plan is what? To unpack this.
Exactly. Cut through the hype, figure out what Stargate is, who's behind it, where it stands now, and crucially, the challenges it's facing, all based on that source material. Sort of a shortcut to understanding this major tech story.
Okay, so lay it out for us, this real-world Stargate. What's the core idea?
So it's described as like a moonshot plan.
Yeah.
The goal is to build the world's biggest fleet of AI super data centers.
Super data centers.
Yeah, aiming for what they call frontier scale compute power. Always on, ready for training and running these, next level AI models. We're talking power for potentially AGI, artificial general intelligence.
And the scale, the numbers involved. The article mentions up to $500 billion over just 4 years or so.
That's the headline figure, yeah. With an initial goal to get $100 billion secured to kick things off. The source even compares it to the Manhattan Project for scale and urgency.
Wow. That comparison really hits home, tells you how significant people think this is.
Absolutely. It highlights the immense capital and coordination needed.
Which brings us to who? Who are the heavy hitters trying to pull this off? The article lists quite a few.
Right. You've got OpenAI, Sam Altman's group as the operator.
Yeah.
They'll be running these things.
Okay, and the money?
SoftBank, Masayoshi Son, is pegged as the primary financier. Seems like they're handling a lot of the funding, possibly through debt.
And Oracle, I saw Larry Ellison's name connected.
Definitely. Oracle Cloud is set to build and operate a lot of the infrastructure. The article mentioned Ellison reportedly ordered around $40 billion worth of NVIDIA GPUs.
40 billion, just in chips.
Just in GPUs, yeah, for the initial site in Texas, apparently. It's a staggering amount. Shows the scale.
Incredible. Any other big investors mentioned?
MGX, that's an AI investment group from Abu Dhabi. They're in as a $7 billion anchor investor. It connects Stargate to Middle Eastern capital and, importantly, energy resources. These centers need huge amounts of power.
Makes sense. Now, Microsoft, OpenAI's biggest partner, how do they fit into Stargate?
It's interesting. The source says Microsoft decided not to take an equity stake, maybe antitrust worries, maybe needing cash for their own Azure build-out.
But they're still involved.
Yeah, as a strategic ally, they have this right of first refusal deal.
Right of first refusal. What does that mean practically?
Basically, if OpenAI has overflow compute needs more work than Stargate can handle, they have to offer it to Microsoft Azure first. Only if Azure passes can they go elsewhere, like Oracle or Google Cloud.
Okay. So Microsoft gets first dibs on extra work without putting equity into Stargate itself. Smart.
Seems like it. And underpinning all this compute power, NVIDIA's chips, you mentioned the GPUs. The article specifies 400,000 Blackwell chips just for Abilene, Texas.
400,000. Wow.
Yeah. And Armin's involved in chip design collaboration. Cisco also just joined via an MOU focusing on networking and security, starting with the UAE project.
And you can't do something this big without government nods, right?
Oh, for sure. The U.S. government seems supportive. Announced at the White House, President Trump reportedly called it the largest AI infrastructure project, promised faster permits.
And the UAE.
Host and investor for Stargate UAE. They see it as strategic.
So this kicked off publicly January 2025. What's happened since then, according to the source?
We've seen some details on the money side, SoftBank leaning towards debt. Initial equity splits mentioned like $19 billion each from SoftBank and OpenAI. $7 billion each from Oracle and MGX for Phase 1.
And boots on the ground. Is anything actually being built?
It seems so. Abilene, Texas is the first big site, planned for 8 huge buildings, about $1.4 billion each for those 400,000 chips. JP Morgan's lending over $9 billion for that part.
Okay, so it's starting. Who's developing that first Texas facility?
Oracle picked a company called Crusoe Energy Systems for that initial one. And there are apparently scouting locations in the UK too, plus interest from, like, 16 U.S. states.
And it's global, you mentioned the UAE.
Right. Stargate UAE announced May 2025, a massive 1-gigawatt campus in Abu Dhabi. Target is 200 megawatts online by 2026.
A gigawatt. That's city-scale power.
It's enormous. It's framed under this OpenAI for countries idea. UAE is the first nation cleared for national ChatGPT use, maybe 10 others talking. There's also UAE money reportedly flowing back into U.S. sites.
It's a really complex global web, but projects like this, They always hit bumps. What challenges does the article point out?
Yeah, May reports mentioned slow start worries, costs are rising, maybe tariffs adding 5–15%, making financing harder, specific concerns about SoftBank maybe facing delays, getting their debt funding lined up.
And is there a risk of building too much? Everyone's building data centers now.
That's mentioned too, fear of overcapacity down the line,
Hmm.
given what Microsoft, Google, others are doing, but the partners seem to be shrugging it off publicly.
How so?
Well, Sam Altman apparently called the funding worries noise. ARM CEO said the backing was quite solid. So public confidence, despite those reports.
The source seems to frame it as strategic, long-term infrastructure with political weight behind it. So what's the immediate outlook? The next hurdles.
The next few months seem key, based on the article. Need to see real progress, groundbreakings beyond Abilene, and critically, getting those first Texas and Abu Dhabi clusters actually running,
Ah.
hitting those targets.
And if they pull it off, if they navigate all this, the upside is
Huge. The article suggests success could roughly double today's global AI compute capacity. It would lay the foundation needed for future AI, maybe even AGI development.
So Stargate. It's this incredibly ambitious, potentially $500 billion gamble, pulling together tech giants, global capital, governments, all to build the physical engine for the next AI revolution.
Yeah, it's not just buildings and silicon. It's trying to construct the factory floor for the future of computing, the kind you'll interact with.
Which really leaves us, and you listening, with a big question to ponder, doesn't it? Given the sheer scale, the complexity, the financial hurdles already popping up, will Stargate's massive vision actually succeed in unlocking that next era of AI and AGI? Or could the immense difficulty of just building it slow down its cosmic ascent?